What's up, folks? Welcome to another edition of the Panthers Fan Talk. I am Eric, and with me, as always, is Will.
Week 2 NFL season, Panthers Bills. I want to talk coaching matchup because obviously McDermott's coming back to town.
Welcome.
Speak on the quarterback matchup as always, and really break down everything from basically the whole team, but definitely going to hit on those two things as well as the one of the hot topics coming out of last week's game, at least here in Charlotte. Christian McCaffrey, his expectations, and then on the other side, Shady McCoy. But we can start anywhere. You got anything that's hot, fresh in your mind?
Actually, I do, since you helped me out thinking about what I was going to help about. I heard a thing about, I can't remember if I saw it on Twitter, or I saw it somewhere, I think it was Twitter, about the Buffalo Bills saying they're going to have a lot of fans down here in Charlotte. And hopefully that's not the case, man. Hopefully, if you're not going to be able to be at the game and you're a season ticket holder, sell those tickets to the freaking Panther fans, man. Don't sell them to no freaking Buffalo Bills. Like, that's just disrespectful. I mean, I get it, money's money, but, you know, you can find, like, forums and stuff to sell those to.
Cash rules everything around me.
Yeah, but, I mean, in this case, man, don't do it.
Don't worry about the cash. Don't feed your families.
They can eat next week, man. Don't worry about that.
Not next week either. We got the Saints coming in. 2 weeks in Foxborough.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago.
But before we get to the breakdown, I'm with you on this part of it. And the other part, I think it's kind of overblown. If you look around at any stadium, I mean, people talk about you ain't going to see people out there in the black hole in Oakland or wherever they're located now. That's BS. You see the enemy fans in every single stadium across the country.
That's
and
true.
Anybody wants to respond and argue, feel free. And then I'll post some clips this week whenever I can prove you wrong. As soon as the games come on, every single stadium. If it's completely packed with Buffalo Bills fans, it's going to be 30%. And I would be shocked, honestly, if it gets over 15. But if we're losing, it's going to sound like there's a ton.
Yeah.
Just like when we were in Atlanta years ago, they're on the way to the playoffs. We're terrible, and we're winning the whole game. You would have thought it was 70% Panther fans. It was probably 30, somewhere in that number.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll silence them quickly. I think we will, large in part because I think Cam knocked the rust off last week. 2 weeks in a row now, we win the quarterback battle, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not going to say that T-Mobile is as bad as Brian Hoyer. That's right. That's
T-Mobile.
his nickname in case you didn't know
Oh,
it.
geez.
Tyrod Taylor. Not sure why you would want to be.
That's about right, though.
But
He's
yeah,
probably
it
about
fits perfect.
fourth or fifth in the service.
Yeah, ain't Verizon, ain't AT&T.
Yeah, ain't even Sprint.
Cat, just a little bit above cricket. We played him last week.
Cricket.
So, Cam, obviously, everybody up in Buffalo, people might be watching this that aren't familiar with us, that aren't familiar with the team as much. You see the highlights of Cam, and then, of course, you see the lowlights because the national media loves to hate on our boy.
Right.
But you're going to see that one pass, which might have been the worst of his career. It was either that or the one that he spiked to the tight end a few years back, game on the line. But terrible pass into the end zone. But shortly after that, from the end of the first half to the end of the game, he finished 9 for 9.
Yeah.
So clearly he knocked the rust off. He only threw 2 passes in the preseason, and I think this is going to be a coming out party. He's amped up at home, anyways.
It's true.
So I think we win that battle pretty easily.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you had a choice to take Cam or Tyrod Taylor, I mean, that's pretty, no-brainer right there, yeah. I'm with you, man. We definitely win the quarterback battle easily. Cam's just light years ahead of Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is a mobile quarterback, and, you can have his services for $20 a month.
Free nights and weekends.
Yeah, free nights and weekends. No data plan, I don't think.
But yeah, dude's mobile. he lacks in the passing game, and honestly, as fast as our defense is, especially at the linebacker position, I mean, I think we're set up for mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah. And, Shaq Thompson could be a big part of the, answer to Tyrod Taylor this week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's obviously fast. He used to play safety in college. He lost some weight this season. He looks, freaking quick as ever. And I think he can shut him down. We got Luke and freaking our interior defensive line is just monsters. Like, good luck with K1 and Star pushing the freaking offensive line back in his face. You know what I'm saying? So
I was going to stay on speed for a minute with Zay Jones, but since you brought up the interior of our defensive line, they had one of the top-rated guards last week, opening week. Richie Incognito. Dude's a really good guard. He's a bully, but I mean, the dude's good. Like, I don't, care for him as a person, as a player, but as far as skill set, he can play.
yeah.
However, on the other side, when you look at us, you look at our guards, Trey Turner, at least Pro Football Focus, the number 1 rated guard. So you got one of the top rated guards. I've heard multiple times about that and how he's going to stop, Star and Short, which he's only one dude. You can't stop Star with one dude, much less both of them.
Good luck.
But they've lacked in the pass rush. McDermott doesn't like to blitz a whole lot.
Yeah.
So you've got a team lacking in pass rush with their front 4 going against Turner, Norwell. For anybody that paid attention or went back and looked, honestly, I went back and looked. I didn't notice it as much at the time. But Khalil on the outside, Matt, he played his tail off last week. He has all preseason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think our advantage, defensive line to offensive line, again, I think we win that pretty much going away.
I agree. The old battle of the trenches, I think, has to be a check mark to us. Offensive line played great last week. Didn't give up a sack, or I don't even think they gave up anything. Man, came away with that from that game like clean. He didn't have no stains of any kind on him, so that was great to see.
Pooped himself once.
Didn't poop, didn't pee, like the dude.
No stains.
It was like a freaking robot. No. But yeah, I mean, our lines are playing good. I like to see our defensive ends maybe get a little more pressure on the quarterback. But other than that,
yeah, it was by committee last week. I mean, Peppers got back there a couple times.
Wes Horton made some plays.
Wes Horton brought it, one of his better games.
Yeah.
And of course, we had 3rd and long do his thing on 3rd and long once. Addison. Going back to the Buffalo Bills with their offense, they've got tons of speed on the outside with Zay Jones, and he's going to be matched up a lot with Worley, I believe, because at least early on last week, Bradbury was moving around the field. He was tracking the number 1 for San Francisco, and I think he may do that this week with Matthews. If Tyrod Taylor is able to buy some time and get a ball off deep, it could be trouble with Worley, especially with Coleman over there. If he's playing over the top at that time, really both our safeties are lacking in speed.
Yeah.
That could be an issue. But when I look at their offense, the issue is one guy and one guy only, or at least one guy mostly, and that's Shady McCoy. Dude's a superstar when healthy. Obviously, he's healthy. I mean, he's one of the best in the league. He's maybe the best in the league, in my opinion. Bell would obviously get a lot of consideration for that. But number 2, at least for me, I love McCoy. I love watching him in Philly. The dude's great. I'm not going to love him this week unless he's terrible for some reason.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on the rest of their offense?
Yeah, I mean, they got Jordan Matthews, they got Zay Jones, who, like you said, the speedster. They got a decent wide receiving core. Nothing really scares you, but like you said, if Tyrod Taylor gets some times and throws a deep bomb, I mean, he's got a good arm. That's one thing you can say about him. He can throw it deep. If he gets a chance to do that, it might be trouble for us. But I don't really see us giving him any time to do that. And like you said too, LaShawn McCoy is one of the best when healthy. He's got all the moves. He's got all the right moves. And he's really the main guy that you have to focus on offense, I think, for them. And, I don't know. I like our chances against him.
Again, I mean, almost everything comes back to our speed at linebacker.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. It's not only speed, it's also play recognition. I tweeted this out, and it almost sounds ignorant to say, but Luke is one of the most underrated players in the league. The fact that he's not being talked about as one of the greatest of all time at the position. I mean, people obviously hype him up, like, man, he might be the best. And you hear that a lot. He might be the best middle linebacker in the game. No, he is the best middle linebacker in the game.
Yeah.
To say might is disrespectful. If he just set people in the right position and then had to leave the field, he would still be one of the best linebackers in the league.
Yeah.
Pre-snap reads, and you saw it tons last week. He'll just move a guy. He'll literally go up to the guy, slap him on the side, and push him over, line him up in the hole. San Francisco and teams time and time before throughout the last few years will then hand the ball off and run right to the dude. He's like, hey, go over there. That's where he's going to be, right there on that hash mark. Get him.
Congratulations.
And it's phenomenal. And if for some reason that guy don't get there, Luke's always there. Like, he's at every single tackle. The guy, I mean, obviously he had a great pick, but
yeah, amazing.
When you have a play like that and you can still come away from the game and say, if you take that away, he's still the most dominant force that was on the field. I mean, he does everything. He's in the backfield when he blitzes. He's stuffing every run. He's in on every pass, it seems like. If somebody gets a pass on the outside, he's like the first guy to the ball.
Yeah.
And him versus McCoy, that's going to be a fun matchup to watch.
I agree, man. And we said this before. He's the defensive version of Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows, like you said, all the reads. He knows pretty much what the play's going for happens. I mean, I don't know how he sees that jump. He's freaking, I don't know. Might just start calling like Miss Cleo or something. The fortune teller. So dude's freaking amazing, man. I'm glad
everybody's been chanting, Cleo.
yeah, that's it. Cleo. But the dude's freaking great. That freaking interception he had against San Francisco was just unbelievable. And it's always great to see him pumped up and fired up too after he makes a great play like that, man. I mean, like I said, glad he's on our team. Glad he's healthy. Looking forward to watching him play Sunday.
Peppers, Horton, Charles Johnson, all are disciplined against the run. That's going to help. Even if they don't make the plays, at least they're not going to be out of position. Again, a little bit of scares last week. Coleman made a couple big hits, but there was a couple times in one of the plays I was talking about where Luke slid him right into position, then he got ran over. Some of that stuff goes under the radar because the announcers, as soon as he gets a tackle, just go nuts about how he's one of the best in the league. But he's got to shore that up. Adams and Coleman again got torched on a couple pass plays that were incomplete that could have been very bad. But Bradbury, outside of going hard for the deflection and flipping over dude's head and letting him free up the sideline, he brought it last week. I expect more of the same throughout the season from him. And our defense is better than theirs. The one advantage I see them having though is coaching, which I sadly say pretty much every game. But this one in particular, McDermott knows our stuff, and something drove me absolutely nuts this week. Rivera came out and said, well, we know what he does too. Sounded first of all like a 6-year-old. Oh yeah? Well, my dad can beat your daddy up. Calm down, big fella. But that's ignorant. Dude, you know what he did when he was coaching under you by your guidelines and without any touch on the offense.
Yeah.
That doesn't translate at all to this situation, yet some reason, Twitter blew up with it. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Oh, moron Rivera. He called it right. We know his stuff too. No, we don't know anything about them. We've got 1 week of sample size with McDermott.
Yeah.
And I think that's enough of an advantage for them to make this game scarier than it should be.
I agree, man. McDermott definitely knows our defense, I feel. I mean, he knows what we're going to do, and he might Well, he probably knows some of our offensive weaknesses too. I mean, we do kind of have like a new offensive thing. We started feeding McCaffrey the ball, and sometimes I feel like we fed him too much. Especially him being a rookie. I mean, he's still kind of pretty much unproven. Week 1, I think he had a pretty good game, but
Yeah, he had a decent game.
yeah, but I think we force-fed him maybe a little bit too much. We still got guys like Olsen and Benjamin who can make plays, and Funches who's been, in this offense now for 3 years. So, I don't mind us using McCaffrey obviously, but I think we kind of have to pick our spots with that. I feel like Stewart still had a pretty good game. He had that nice little flip in the end zone touchdown. So, as far as McDermott goes, like I said, I feel like he has a lot of insight on our defense, and it could be maybe a little bit scary, but
I like our focus on the offense, so I like our focus with the offense, rather, and I like it being on the running backs. I think that's the way we should go. I think it gives our defense more rest. We control the clock better to short passes. But one thing that McDermott's going to know better than anybody in the league, as far as defensive, coaches, other coaches in the league, is Cam Newton.
yeah.
And that's the part that scares me. He knows Cam's weaknesses. He knows his strengths. And he knows that better than anyone. Now, what helps us out a ton is that our talent is way better than theirs.
Right.
And I think, we do tone it down a hair with McCaffrey. Hope to see what Samuel can do. Hope the fumble problems don't come back with McCaffrey. And I got us winning the game, man, in spite of the coaching, issues with him, knowing more of us than we know of them.
Yeah.
But I got us winning the game, and I got us doing it largely, on defense again, but with our offense producing, I got us 24-10.
That's pretty good. I'm glad you brought up Curtis Samuel because I forgot about that. I mean,
Yeah,
he's one of our faster guys on the team, and then you have Demir Bird too. I mean, those guys, as they say, can take the top off, and they're your home run hitters. I think you got to give them the chance, man, and just send them out there and throw something deep, or maybe get like a little wide receiver screen and see what they can do with the ball. I mean, that'd be nice. I'd love to see
the end around that they faked to call.
Yeah. Like, let's get an end around to Samuel or Bird. I'd like to see that happen. That's good points. As far as the score goes, I do think it's going to be in our favor, obviously. I feel like our defense is too strong. I feel like we have too much talent in offense and the offensive line. I'm going to say we win the game 28-17.
Sounds good. Before we get out of here, I'll be at the game. If anybody's still watching right now at the 35-minute mark. I'll be at the game, section 511, row 1A, me and my son, his first game. If you get a chance, holler at us. Free high fives for everybody that comes by. The good white ones too, like no style in it. But check us out. And of course, on Twitter, check us out.
At Panther Fan Talk, and I am at Panther. I'm at Panther Fan Talk too. I'm at Eric the 6'5". That's what the number is. You gotta do that.
You type it, you gotta do that.
You gotta do this. We can do it.
So, also, YouTubing it up right here, of course. And hopefully after the game, but that might be a struggle this week coming from the game and with the recent difficulties in scheduling. But definitely back here next week previewing the Saints or the Aints. And looking forward to that win. Spoiler alert. And that's it.
Yeah.
So as always,
Keep
pounding.